Now it's looking like we're living in a situation where free speech is not free speech anymore.
Hasn't been in a while.
Hasn't been in a while. Something that goes against the grain of the establishment, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And I want to preface this with, I'm not a fan of Hasan Piker. I actually think there's a lot about him that I find very questionable, despite what some of you may think if you support him. I don't particularly trust him with his dog.
All right, are we going into the Hasan Medea story? Okay, so before we get into this, let me be very clear. We don't need to see all y'all bickering about Hasan and debating him. It's completely not the point of the piece. And for anybody who, like me, is a free speech absolutist, it's irrelevant what our positions are about him. Correct. And yes, you all know we love Medea, but so, and again, this is who he is irrelevant. Do not make me come in the chat, y'all. I don't want to see you fighting about stupid Hasan Piker.
Colin, can you pull up the tweet that from Mario Nafal, I think is how you say his name, where the Hasan clip came from in the first place? Because I'm prefacing with, because I want to point something out to you guys. There is something to be said for how people get their feeling, their panties in a bunch, if you will, about whether you like somebody or not. Let me assure you, I don't have to like Hasan Piker to defend his right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to protect his constitutional rights. And so this idea that there is something to be cheered on here, that's what Mario is doing.
Yeah. All right. So a free speech absolutist, for somebody who wants to know what I think of it, is I have no problem with hate speech. I have no problem with any speech. That's the point. It's words. Everybody can say, I think people can think and say whatever they want, unless you are leading to imminent harm to an individual. Correct. Right? Like you can't yell fire in a crowded room. You can't do something to bring people into an immediate harm in the moment. But other than that, I think people should be able to say whatever they want. I think you should be able to walk up and down the street and say, we hate the Jews, fuck the Jews. I don't think it matters. Yes.
How about it?
So that's what a free speech absolute is. I don't care if it's hate speech. I don't care what the speech is.
So this guy, Mario Nawfal, who is a real smug son of a bitch, to say the least, streamer Hasan Piker is in full meltdown mode after the Trump administration dropped a subpoena on him for aiding Cuba. It's BS. They're up my butt. Free my brother. Free me, brother. The tanky who cheered for commies is now crying when the feds come a-knocking. Boy, Mario, you're
this guy? What is he, narwhal?
He's got a huge platform. The guy tries, you know what he tries to do, Jen? He tries to act like Mehdi Hasan in a lot of ways.
Okay, so by the way, all of these people, to me, if any of these people that are coming out specifically against Hasan Piker now, and again, I don't know that much about him. I know there's the dog story. We're not going to talk about that. But to me, they're all just establishment blue people. And what they are is they're angry and they're ass hurt that he's not in line with them and that he steers an audience away from them.
Correct.
That's why they don't like.
But this is also the thing. It's like, you don't like Hasan, so you're going to throw him under the bus, even though you know that there is nothing wrong with what he did. You are actually on the side of tyranny rather than on the side of liberty.
Okay, so Lila says he's a right-wing op, but I always am so fast to blame the Dems first. Yeah.
Probably. I would definitely agree.
Well, as people on the left and as somebody on the left, I have had personally infinitely more problems with the liberal/Dems people than I've ever had with the people on the right. So they are so much more, the Democrats are so much more threatened by the people left of them.
Yep.
Because to the Republicans, we're all the same. That's what's so funny. They think we're all the same. To the Republicans, the Democrats are the crazy leftists. I live where they are. I'm telling you, they think all Democrats are the crazy leftists.
Well, the good news is that the true break is coming from Massey, but we'll get to him shortly. So leave it to friend of the show, an actual friend in real life, Medea Benjamin, to explain exactly why she and Hasan Piker have just been subpoenaed by the Trump administration.
The Trump administration is investigating me, Hasan Piker, and others for a trip that CodePink and other groups organized in March to bring medicines and medical supplies to Cuba's pediatric hospitals. Basically, we want to help save babies. And that, according to Trump, is something that must be investigated, because how dare we want to help the Cuban people? How dare we love the Cuban people? And if indeed the charge is that we love the Cuban people, guilty, because I have loved the Cuban people for decades, ever since Cuban doctors saved my life in a remote village of Africa when I was dying from malaria. I love Cuban art. I love Cuban culture. I love Cuban music. I love salsa dancing. I must admit, I'm not a great fan of Cuban food, but in any case.
Unfortunately for Medea, she does live in Miami half the time, so she's very surrounded by Cuban food. But there's a lot of
the problem with Cuban food is that it is very meat intensive, very pork intensive. That is also something that is common in certain Latin, Central, and Caribbean American cultures. It doesn't help us because we're both, Jen and I are basically both pescatarians. So, eating a Cuban sandwich is definitely.
I used to like, I grew up in South Florida, so I knew where to go get the good Cuban sandwich. Now, and I used to definitely like a good Cuban sandwich.
Now, I don't remember where this was in Miami, but I used to go there, and there is a vegan place in Miami that does a vegan Cuban panini. I mean, honest to God, it was really, really good.
You realize that's an oxymoron. That's like Jews for Jesus.
It's only once in a great while that you're going to eat it.
The entire premise of the Cuban sandwich is the pork and the ham. That's the whole premise of the Cuban sandwich. It isn't that it gets flattened in a press, because that's just a panini.
Save the pigs. They're intelligent creatures anyway.
Again, I don't eat that anymore. Whatever. I'm just saying.
I want my government to leave the Cuban people alone, not to be strangling them by keeping oil from the island, by sanctions that are so brutal. I want them to stop threatening to invade Cuba. I want them to listen to the global world opinion that every single year at the United Nations overwhelmingly says, lift the blockade. So please, if any government officials are watching, don't investigate us for trying to save Cuban babies. Investigate yourselves for what you're doing to kill Cuban babies and make lives of the Cuban people miserable. Leave Cuba alone.
I love her. So that's why we're not going to get into the whole Hasan thing, because this really isn't even about any of that stuff. So they are basically being charged, if you will. I mean, it's at least being subpoenaed to come and talk to the administration, because they might be in violation of our illegal sanctions on Cuba, which, by the way, sanctions is an act of war. We currently have sanctions on 60-something nations. Our sanctions have killed over 35 million people since 2003. But so Medea and Hasan Piker bringing aid to people that were suffocating because they haven't had gas in months. And the people there are starving and having issues right now because of us. And so, yeah, we can't allow that. But please, by all means, I am so excited for them to talk to Medea. See, they want to give Medea a microphone.
Please.
You, by all means, you want Medea to come and sit and testify. That woman, you have to pull her away from the microphone. I've seen it happen. She'll stand up and talk, and they will be dragging her ass out. So you want to let Medea talk at a microphone? I think that would be glorious.
Oh man, could you imagine? I mean, like, could you imagine seeing her sitting, in front of the House Select Committee on Military Affairs?
Absolutely.
Get some sound bites. Oh, please.
That's what I'm saying. If it's the White House, even better. All y'all. You want to put a microphone in front of Medea Benjamin? Yeah, that's really threatening her with a good time.
And this is part of the reason why, I don't F with, if you will, Piker, because he would get in that position and he would speak, and he would do it in a way that it is more of a soundbite. Whereas if Medea does it, Medea will be so prepared to basically show how barbaric this country truly is, to make people have to question their own lives, because she'll be up there and saying, I was in Cuba. I can tell you how you are killing these people. You are doing it because they refuse to bend to the will of whether it's Israel or the corporate state. That is the mad. Yeah.
She would hug you too. Like I as somebody who's been fortunate enough to hug Medea, I can tell you she's extremely lovable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I truly, I
She's
mean, listen,
teeny.
yeah, if you want to talk about a small but mighty human being who is a true leftist, the best kind of leftist, Medea Benjamin she's a hero to me. I mean, I love her to death. I think she's just
is like, she's 10 feet tall. You know what I mean? Like her spirit is 10 feet tall.
Correct.
It's just, yeah. She's
and this
amazing.
goes to anybody in the chat who identifies as somebody, conservative or politically on the right. Let me tell you, there's lots of allies out there who are willing to work on key issues. Medea is the best of us. Like she'll really
work with anybody. If you are anti-war, she will work with you on any, like, that's her ish. So,
and the last thing you're ever going to see from Medea, and what makes her so special, this lady's been fighting the fight since Vietnam. Like that's how much of a legendary activist she really is. This is a person who never gets involved in I'm trying to think of the right word. Trash talking is one way of looking at it, but she doesn't get into the theatrics of politics.
No, she keeps her cool in times talking to these people where I would want to grab them by the neck. Like, I don't know how she stays so calm talking to these people. Even Ben Gvir, like she was starting to get like a little loud with him, but still she kept it together. Well,
Gvir lost his mind with her. Like,
because what an easy target. He thought he was going to like just push her around. Yeah, good luck pushing Medea around. You try that. I've seen 4 people
tell you,
her out of
if there's one thing I'm convinced of with Gvir, can you imagine, you want to talk about skeletons in a closet? Can you imagine the things that Gvir has done over the years that people are probably not aware of?
I think people are aware of it, and I think that they just don't care because they're lawless and rogue, as are we. So there's no justice. Yeah.
So Colin, we're going to do this this is going to be an interesting layered story here, but I want you to pull up that photograph that I sent you earlier. Doesn't have a name, but I want you to pull it up, please.
Yeah, what are we?
So this is Mena.
Who is this baby?
This girl her name is Mena.
Mena.
And as much as it pains me to say this, she was killed earlier today in a bombing by Israel, along with her mother. Just this innocent little kid, and she was killed.
Was this in Lebanon was this in Lebanon or in Gaza, or where was this?
No, this was I think this is the West Bank. And so I can't play the video because it'll make you'll completely lose it. So there is a video of her father seeing her in state, and
I think I saw that come up on my feed today.
She had a cast on because her arm was broken because she had survived another attack. So she had a broken arm. She had a broken arm. Yeah. And I want you all to remember Mena like we remember Hin Rajab. I want you to understand that these are kids. These are young, innocent children that didn't ask for any of this, and they're getting it because we have decided that we're too much of a bunch of cuck pussies to actually stand up to our government and stop this shit. Because at the end of the day, as much as I want us to move into this sort of revolutionary mindset, it's not happening fast enough because these kids are getting killed every day. And as Jen said earlier, you think it's 900? No, it's probably 9,000. And they're bombing relentlessly over and over again. So when you are reminded of the justice that needs to be doled out against this genocidal state, this is our responsibility. We are responsible for this child. This is blood on our hands. We are responsible for this. And while you have the likes of Cory Booker, Mark Levin, and we could go on and on, you know, I constantly think, does it make sense to kind of call out all of these grifting bastards that are constantly talking about, oh, we totally have to go to war. This is such a great idea. And they're getting paid. And all the while, these kids are being murdered. Can you imagine taking money, knowing that taking that money is causing these kids to be mass murdered? I mean, to me, there is no coming back from that. There just isn't.